All right, guys, welcome to the podcast. We have our first episode,
Woo!
Homo Gorillians.
Yup.
Homo gorilla.
Yup. That's the title.
Yep, that's our title. And for our first question, we have, with gorilla gone, is there hope for man?
I'm just going to give it out to you right now. No. There is no hope for man if there is no gorilla. Because, imagine, okay, small scale. We start small scale. The dude who's talking to Ishmael right now, right? Does he even have a name?
No.
No,
He's just the
not
guy.
a stated name.
Nope.
We'll just call him the guy.
The dude.
The dude. The dude doesn't... Okay, imagine where he would be right now, already a few days in, if he never met Ishmael, if he never took the news ad to go talk to Ishmael. He would already be less in line than he is right now, and they've just begun their journey. Imagine what it'd be like big scale. We take away all the gorillas, and then man's just left alone to keep destroying the world.
Yeah, but then that also contradicts popular belief. Because there are a couple days into their enlightenment.
Yeah.
But then you also have to think, this kid has been searching enlightenment all his life. As stated, he's found the desire to have a teacher.
Okay.
And he wants to have a teacher that can just show him how to live. Because he is portraying suicidal tendencies. So he's looking for something to give him purpose in his life.
Okay.
And even if the gorilla was gone, and if we're using it in that condensed of a statement, just saying that it's not a broad end, it's just comparing those two.
Mm.
He would still, probably advantageously, still seek out that same enlightenment, just not at a more of a focused rate than when he met Ishmael. Ishmael has pushed him to seek out having a better future, but not necessarily has caused him to have any drastic changes in his beliefs. Up until around page 60 when he questions the man's belief on religion and the creation.
I've thought about this, and I think that, honestly, the relationship we have here between Ishmael and our unnamed character, we have a primate who is teaching mankind. I think that our teacher here is a metaphor, and our student here is a metaphor as well for those who want to learn to save the world. And our gorilla friend here, he is a metaphor for Mother Nature, as stated throughout the book. Mother Nature is, we already know what the prime world is without man, because man has been destroying the world. Without man, there is hope for gorilla. Obviously, maybe gorilla will become man and this cycle will just repeat, but we already know that the prime state of the world is without man, because the world is thriving. There's no ruler, so no one is in a higher state.
It's like all balanced.
It's all balanced.
Yeah. I think it's pretty obvious that when they're talking about saving the world and the world's problems, it's all sourced back to man. And it's interesting because it's only been over the last however many thousands of years, right? But it's like it goes back around page 50 when it's going back to that hypothetical situation talking to the jellyfish. It's billions of years ago. Puts into perspective just how long life has been around in this situation, but man's only been destroying it for the last couple thousand years. So if we did take out gorilla, and if we just think about gorilla as not just like gorilla species, but also just like nature, just the prime world, then what would we have?
Nothing.
Have nothing. So
Yeah, but then again, I also it also shows that culture and humans having independent thinking is what has caused us to like evolve into this industrial state. Because these other species, as of when he's talking to interviewing the jellyfish is core in its beliefs. It does not want to challenge anything. It does not want to look at life in a different way. And that may be how every other species is in this universe. They're all just content with their beliefs. They don't want to challenge anything. They don't want to push the boundaries. Because as stated, when he is talking with the jellyfish, he asks him, how did land come into being? And the jellyfish responds with, you mean the edge of the bowl into the endless sea. So in the jellyfish's mind, if they were to go over up onto land, they'd fall into the void. But since no jellyfish has ever tried to like challenge that belief and go over, then it can show that man, since we are a very intelligent group of peoples, every time we challenge something, we're pushing boundaries, we're finding new stuff, just being an innovative society, and that's how we have come to this point to where we're literally destroying the world.
Okay, so it's like take out gorilla. Is there hope for man? So from what I got from that was it's like
take out intelligence. Is there hope for the world?
Yeah, or I'm just thinking, taken out. If we stay the way we are, there's no hope. But if we push those boundaries, and really actually like apply ourselves, then we can move forward. There is hope.
But that same ability to always push forward and find a solution has also pushed us to our doom.
So,
which has caused humans to be in this situation.
Without nature, there's still hope for man, because as you said, we have that innate ability to push forward. So I'd say even without gorilla, there's hope for man, because humanity has our intelligence in a way that we will keep moving forward.
Word, dog.
All right, you ready for question 2?
Yup.
Mm-hmm.
So, are we humans in captivity, such as the gorilla, certain animals in a zoo, are behind bars? And if so, what way?
Mentally.
Yeah.
Mentally captive.
Because we understand that we're not physically held captive. We can still walk around. Nobody's trying to restrain us or detain us. But there is a higher sense. Okay, so think about how Ishmael first was at the beginning of the book, before he had gained true sentience, when he was just starting to question. When he saw the bars, he couldn't really perceive them. He was just kept on thinking, why am I in this situation? Why? He wasn't really able. Okay, say a three-dimensional being, say us, trying to observe a tesseract. We can't truly comprehend it. Sure, we can see it, and we can see that it's a four-dimensional shape, but we can't comprehend what that means.
Yeah.
Like how it would work. So my belief on it is that since humans, we don't understand that we're in captivity, and we aren't able to perceive it, we aren't able to fight back against it and become free.
So that's what he's talking about when he repeats that they're trying to break through the cage, but they can't find the bars to the cage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can't find the source of this captivity. And then Mother Culture is repressing us to get us back into line as, or as it says in the book, as Ishmael states, hush, 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 we're right, our version of creation's right.
Yeah.
Don't question anything.
So, this is a unique question, what would a captivity-free world look like?
If we were all breaking away from that mental captivity, it's hard, because I feel like it's almost dangerous, because everybody would be doing they'd have their own beliefs to such a diverse extent that
It would cause diversity among groups.
the amount of
It would create a new form of captivity.
it's almost like you gotta question the fine line between like control, which will have negative connotations, and organization, positive connotations. It's connotations. That's a vocab word.
Mm.
It would become disorganized, which sounds bad. We don't want to lose that organization. To have that organization, you have to have control. There's got to be some status quo, and yet that's what we're trying to break free from. But we're not thinking about the after effects.
My belief on it is the captivity we're experiencing is human emotion. If all these other beings they're not at risk for the end of the world because they can experience emotions. They don't experience love as heavily as we do, envy, but since we do experience those feelings, we put a value on sorts of things. Like, it's also like the idea of communism. It's all because it would be a great system, but since human desire, since our emotions always get the better of us, and we act irrationally based off of emotions, we may put faith in things such as emotions. It kind of holds us back from being like a true species, like allowing us to be how we are in the wild and before we evolved into this current state.
Yeah, that's communism is a good point to bring up, because it only works if everybody's pushing forward. But once that some group or some individual seeks to get that leadership back and have that leading role,
that's why communism could never work.
That's why it falls apart. Ishmael talks about, it's like, what's the point, or what would happen if everybody at the same time realized that they're mentally captive and fought against it all as one big group? How effective would that really be, compared to just one or one group, one tiny group of the entire world population? It just wouldn't work, and we almost put ourselves in that own like chokehold, because you've got everybody else thinking that pushing against those boundaries is wrong, which just cancels out any efforts that you have.
All right. So I think we got our answer. Obviously, we are in captivity, and I agree with Hayden. We're held by our emotions. That is those are the bars to keeping us from that captivity-free world. And communism, that was a good one to bring up.
Yeah.
We're controlled by desire, and something has to rule. I think that's what keeps us here too. Third question. We've third question. The relationship between the gorilla teacher and the man student. We've got I think I stated this earlier. We have the gorilla teaching the man, the nature, teaching all mankind of what a captivity-free world should look like. You guys have any ideas about what this sort of symbolism could mean?
I think it is very important that because I think initially, as humans, you look down, at least on an intellectual level, you look down on a gorilla or any other animal. I think at one point it's discussed. He's wondering what the difference is between animals and humans. Because
uncivilized and civilized.
Humans are animals, yeah. but everyone just consciously knows that there's a divide there between primitive and civilized. So you initially you just have that full doubt that there's nothing they could teach you, but they do have a perspective to offer, which is what Ishmael proves.
Yeah, that brings up a great point because, as you stated earlier, we got one group. How effective would one group be against um, freeing us? But if we have something like Mother Nature directing us, that would be much more effective. We have forces working to help us, and Ishmael, he is that force, and I think that the only reason that he is being enlightened is because he has seeked this out. Most of us would not seek this sort of captivity, free captivity out. So we're not being enlightened because we are not searching for that.
Yeah, it goes back to like that mother culture telling us that there's nothing to look for. There's nothing wrong to look for, and you just need that one push from some outside force, like the gorilla Ishmael, to really get things rolling for change.
Next question, boys.
Next question.
Next question. All right. So we brought up that the jellyfish. So he believes that he is the end of creation because everything has led up to that jellyfish. He could not understand land. He believes that there's just a void there, an edge. But what would the end of creation be? Because we believe that everything is led up to us. But as Ishmael tells us, that mankind is not the end of creation. Creation will keep on going. But what would the end of creation really look like?
From a scientific standpoint, it's the Earth getting engulfed into the sun. It's the end of creation on our planet. But creation will more than likely, if not ending in the ashes of a human civilization, say like post-thermonuclear war or nuclear holocaust, but creation would still continue to move forward and find different evolutions that would play into key, because creation never truly ends, because I mean we're creating due to like the human genome being so diverse now. We create new syndromes are created every single day, and that's theoretically creation, because we're creating something and something new is being brought into future generations by our generation. It's pretty much a downed version of evolution. Everything is going to keep on striving to fit its current needs and current habitats, but it'll take a while, and it'll never be seen by human eyes. But still, those things that are always moving forward are still continuing creation. Maybe little, but it's still moving forward no matter what.
So you gotta have like that perspective it's bigger than just us, and that you gotta think down the road, and then you've got to think beyond humans.
The road ahead?
The road, beyond the road of our existence, to the whole world, or even as you brought up before, then a creation be like being engulfed in the sun, but then you've got the whole universe, right? And things, planets will still keep going everywhere else in the universe. What's going to happen there? It's almost like about perspective, really.
I think you brought up the scientific point of the end of creation, but more the biblical end of creation is the rapture, because we have stopped living at that point, and it's the end.
Nah, you just brought in the rapture into it. We think that humanity as a whole, we're the top end of creation. Like, we are what the earth was made for. We are its sole purpose. But when the rapture comes, it's the end of creation, and humans, well, just depends on where you stand on that side of the bow. You're either going to hell or going to heaven. Yeah. We are removed from the equation entirely. I mean, unless you're like a Mormon belief where like the earth gets rebuilt by God or something like that. But still, if you look at it that way, then creation's still going to move forward in the eyes of beings that live after we leave the earth. But humans in a Christian and an Anglo-Christian type of sense would be the end of creation as us leaving and moving on and leaving the planet for other things.
Okay. So we've got our end of creation, and that's the end.
Boom jam.
Word!
All
Put
right.
it up.
All right, and I just got one thing to say. Cue the outro, baby.